Welcome back to Rosie's Garage. Today we have special guest Caleb Fowler, and we are ready to put this engine together. Start anyway. Where are we gonna start?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is we need to get these cylinders kind of cleaned up. I think we're gonna use a flex ball hone, which is kind of for our project, I think the best case. I think after that, we're gonna make sure everything's nice and clean because we get a lot of grit everywhere and we don't want that. So we're gonna get it all cleaned up. After that, we'll put the brand new cam bearings in, then we'll put all the new main bearings in, we'll install the crank, and then we'll kind of just start piecing things together there.
Yep. And get this short block put together.
Short block put together.
All right, let's get to it.
Heck yeah.
All right, we got the engine block all cleaned up. We use the flex hone on it, cylinders, get that nice cross hatching in there so we can break in the new rings. So now I believe we are going to install new cam bearings, and we just grabbed this tool off of Amazon actually, and it worked really good to pound out the old ones. Throw in our new cam bearings. All right, we got the cam bearings in, we got the main bearings in, crank in, main caps torqued down, everything is nice and smooth. Now we're moving on to piston rings. We'll take a look at this.
Yep, we're gonna eventually plan to run a turbo on it. Probably no more than 15 pounds, especially with the way that we're building this. Gonna file our rings down. We're using the stock pistons, and so we're gonna file our top ring with our bore times 8.5 thousandths. Second ring is gonna be our bore times 6.5 thousandths. We have a piston ring filer over there. We're gonna file those rings down.
It's right here. Nothing too fancy, but I bet it works great.
Yeah, definitely
drill
not
up to
fancy,
it.
but yeah, it works. So we'll file everything down. We're gonna check. We're gonna creep up on the size that we want. Once we get the calculations figured out, we'll check it until we get right exactly where we want with those guys.
And these are Summit rings for this 5.3. Little part number there. The rotating assembly is almost together. I'm just missing one cylinder here. I messed up. And when I was gapping these rings, I ground off entirely too much. Twice as much as it should have been ground off. So I'm going to have to try to buy another ring, or I'm not sure if Summit's gonna make me buy the entire kit or not, but I guess we'll find out. So until we get that, we're gonna have to hold off. All right, it's a few days later, and Summit Racing was nice enough to send me an entire new kit. I just need to get the one ring that I need and send my bad ring back to them. Free of charge, which is awesome. So my little helper and I are gonna finish up the last cylinder. All right, my main man Caleb's back again, and we got this rotating assembly officially complete. And now we're going to work on getting the cam in there and degreeing it. We went with a stage 3 turbo cam from Summit, and Caleb's going to talk about degreeing it for a bit here.
Yep, so we have a degree wheel here that we're going to attach to the front of the crank. And once we get the cam and cam gear all installed, this has an adjustable top cam gear in case you need to advance or retard it a couple of degrees. You can do that. But when we degree the cam, we're going to double check the center line of the cam, and that's what we're doing. Is first we'll line up dot to dot with the cam and crank gear, and we'll check to see if the cam card and the actual center line of the cam match. If it matches, we'll leave everything dot to dot. If it's off by a couple degrees, we can adjust it with the cam gear. But that's what we're doing, is just checking the center line of the intake and exhaust lobes with this degree wheel, and that's what we're going to go and find out.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Got the cam degreed. It is almost exactly where it needs to be. It may be just a degree or so off, but we're gonna let it ride right where it's at. It'll be good enough for what we're using it for. So now we're gonna get the oil pump on, timing cover, the back cover, and the pan on. All right, we got some Texas Speed LS7 style lifters. They've been marinating all night. You're ready to drop those in, some new lifter trays and head studs. So my bank account said I cannot afford ARPs. And I looked at the Speedmasters, but they were all back ordered for months for some reason. So I found the next thing on the Chinese totem pole here, and there's some DNA motoring LS head studs. I don't know. They are 8740 chrome moly. So I will be the test mule here and see if they actually work, if they're going to hold any boost or not. But we'll see what happens. Got my little helpers out here today, and we got the head studs in. Bolts are on, everything's torqued down, and now we're gonna put these push rods and rockers in and button this thing up. So we got the long block pretty much put together. Need to put this back plate on, but I'm waiting for the alignment tool. In the meantime, I really want to mate this engine up to this transmission and set it in here and make sure that it's going to clearance this firewall. So I think I'm going to work on that next. We have ran into an issue. This 4L80E sits back further, where that transmission mount is, further than that 4L60E. So hoping we'd have enough clearance here, but you can see this is where this transmission cross member is supposed to be, or where it needs to be for that 4L80E, and then here's where my mount is. So I'm gonna have to unbolt this and drill some holes and get it moved back, which is hopefully going to work out. We'll get started on that so we can get this transmission mounted up. Got the holes re-drilled and everything's mounted up and we should be good to go. Look at that powertrain. Finally in there. Everything is fitting pretty decent. And I'm most excited about this. Look at all that clearance we got back here. The new firewall worked. We should be able to final weld this in. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. On the next episode, we're gonna set up the steering column and the steering linkage. Thanks for watching Rosie's Garage. We'll catch you next time.